What's up guys, Mr. Audio here, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed, and while you're down there, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button and smash the notification bell so you never miss another video. Alright, before I get in this video, I do want to mention we got a Discord set up where you can ask questions about music production, even get private feedback on your mixes from me, and also suggest content that I might cover here on YouTube. That being said, let's get right into this video. Alright, so I'm sure you're aware that there's a new piano behind me. I'll get into that in another video. I'm going to do a whole thing on that. If you're a fan of this channel and you've seen my videos a lot, you'll know that there's usually just a chair back there. And that chair is now up here. So now I've got a nice piano there that's over 65 years old. It's almost 66 years old. Anyway. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to take Ableton's Guitar Open, one of their stock instruments, and make it sound like a real guitar, because this just doesn't sound good. I mean, it sounds kind of like a guitar, but there's just some stuff lacking. Let's get into it. Alright, so what's wrong with this? So, I've set this up kind of like a cooking show. So I've got it already done out in each stage, but I'm also going to do some demonstrating and explain my thought process and how I got there. What's wrong with this? It's a power chord, it just doesn't sound like a guitar. So let's make this guitar strum. When strumming down on a guitar, you're striking the lowest note first and then ascending upwards while you're strumming down. Now, you can simulate this by just moving the MIDI notes back a little bit. So let's zoom in here. And this is just for a down strum. Now, an up strum is exactly the opposite. So MIDI information for a strumming pattern would be quite complicated and look kind of like zigzagging across the screen, depending on your strumming pattern. Let's see how this one sounds. I like that. It almost sounds like a real strum. Now let's see what it sounds like with the 4 chords. Like I said, this is a cooking show. I've already got this done out for you. And that's starting to sound like a normal guitar. A direct input guitar, but nevertheless, still a guitar. Now, when we record guitars for productions, I usually track 2, sometimes 3 takes. It's very hard to reproduce something of a second performance without causing phasing issues. So I've got a really cool trick that I'm going to show you. What if we take our power chord and make it into a triad? Well, we can do that by doing this. Alright, so now we have a triad. Now I'm going to take this note, and I'm going to hit Command-C, if you're on a Windows computer, Control-C, to copy it. And then I'm going to hold Shift while it's still selected and hit the down arrow. It's going to move it an octave down. Then I'm going to select right in the same spot, and I'm going to hit Command-V. If you're on a Windows, again, Control-V. And then you have this right here. Let's hear what this sounds like. It's a little low. I want it to be brighter. So let's take these and move them up an octave. That sounds nice. Now what if we made the second performance with all of the chords like this? Like I said, this is a cooking show, so I have this already done for you. So now if we pan the power chords left and the triads right with an octave lower as a bass note, we get this. Okay, now that we've got 2 performances that sound similar, I mean, obviously there's differences, like there's a little bit less volume on the left side because there's less notes and MIDI information. I wanted them all to be the same velocity to simulate a strum, so the more MIDI content within the clip itself, the louder it's going to be. So the right ear is generally going to be louder and a little brighter because we raised it up an octave. So there are notes higher than the left ear, and also more content, so it's going to be louder. Now, what I thought this was lacking was a little attack. So Ableton has an envelope follower and obviously an EQ. So what I did was I made a little effect rack, which is technically a dynamic sidechain EQ. Basically, it's an EQ that's dynamically sidechained to the original signal. Now, you can use this envelope follower to make an actual sidechain EQ that's sidechained to a specific track. This is very useful with sidechaining the kick to the bass. Common stuff in music production. I'll probably do a video on this specific effect rack and all the cool things you can do with this, but for now, I'm just adding some attack. I want it to add volume at a certain point on the fundamental to make this attack really come out. Because Ableton doesn't have a transient shaper, it is very hard for me to add attack. I would think Ableton should have a transient shaper. All right. So, it's missing some attack. So let's add that right now with this. I'm going to add this attack right here. All right, and we're just going to listen to this on both guitars. I'm going to shut all this other processing off so that we can just hear what attack I am adding. So, all right, now it's starting to sound like an actual guitar, like someone strummed it. And there's two performances now. We're getting somewhere with this. Now let's turn on Ableton's basic heavy guitar amp. Now, I've messed around with the settings, so it's not exactly the basic heavy amp, but here's what it sounds like so far. I mean, it's close to guitar amp, but I just felt like it was missing something. So let's add some other processing. So Grit is another little effect rack I stole from the Vocal Production Suite. I've been using it on lots of things. This little thing is powerful. I didn't know that when I made it, I was going to use it on so many different things, but it can be used on lots of things. This is what everything up to the Grit sounds like. And now it's really taking shape. You can see that we don't need to do much more to it. I just felt like it was missing a little bit more warmth, so I wanted to add some of that. Let's squash it with the glue compressor and bring it up under like around 50%. So I did that, and let's check out what that sounds like. All right, so there's a little bit of stuff missing. So what I did was I froze those tracks and rendered them out down. What I did was here's what I really did. I'll do this so that you can see everything I did. So I froze those tracks. And what I like to do is I like to keep that MIDI information there. So I'll just mute those tracks and just save that. If I'm having trouble with CPU, it does help to unfreeze them, go in and shut off all the plugins, and then refreeze them. So it kind of makes everything just audio, and it takes away all the extra processing that it would be doing underneath the hood. So now that you have your tracks frozen, click on the top one, select it, hold Shift, and grab the other one, and hold Option if you're on Mac. If you're on Windows, it'll be Alt. And then I like to drag the clip gain down a little bit. And as you can see, there's more volume on this one. So I'll level match this a little bit by eye. And then I noticed that they need to be in time. So I quantize them. I hit Command A and then Command Shift U. Replace Command for Control if you're on Windows. So then I just do that for both the clips here, and then here's what it sounds like with all that processing again. And after I level matched, I decided that this one sounded, let's turn this on. they're level matched over here? They sound good, but what I want to do is I want to brighten up the left ear so it doesn't sound lopsided. It feels like it's lopsided, and I don't want that. So let's brighten up the left ear with this EQ here. Like I said, it's a cooking show. I've got this already pre-cooked and ready for you. So after a long time of messing around, here's what I settled on. And here's how it sounds in the mix. And that sounds incredible. And a lot of these instruments are unprocessed right now. In fact, I think the only one I've processed in this is the guitar. But all of these instruments you're hearing are stock Ableton instruments. Ableton has an amazing selection even on the standard version because that's what I have. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. If you stuck around to the end, I got some links in the description for free stuff. Go to my website, check some stuff out. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. I'll be doing a series on this one. I had a lot of fun. Mr. Audio, out.